Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for episode 3 of the Women in Fintech special. March is Women's History Month, so we're bringing on women in various industries to amplify their voices and learn from their experiences. Women currently hold 6% of all CEO positions in the S&P 500 companies. In addition to that, women hold only 38% of manager-level positions. We're closing in on that gender gap, but there's always progress to be made. Today, you'll hear from Dale Sperling, Chief Marketing Officer of Stash, Jessica Willis, Founder and CEO of Pocket Nest, and Flory Marquez, Co-Founder and SVP of Operations at BlockFi. I'm your host, Jordan Robertson, and we're going to get started. Hi, Dale. Hi, Flory. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks so much for being here. I actually want to kick it off with Dale. Could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, and how you got started in your career?
Yeah, sure. So Dale Sperling, I'm the CMO at Stash, and Stash is an app that makes investing easy. And my team's responsible for the customer growth and engagement, activation, retention, as well as PR and comms at Stash. And I got started in fintech actually quite serendipitously. And myself and one of our original co-founders had just come off a startup that kind of went sideways. We were working in the STEM tech, edutech space. And I loved the startup experience. I loved tech. And when this problem was presented to me, that 100 million people in the US don't invest because it's too hard, they don't think they have enough education, they're not marketed to, it was inaccessible or expensive. I was in the right place at the right time, and I had the right set of experiences that enabled me to tackle this problem and bring this solution to the masses. So it really was a great opportunity and great timing that got me into the fintech space.
Awesome. I love what you said about startups, because I think you just gained a vast amount of experience working for a startup. So that's really cool, and love how you got started. Jessica, can you introduce yourself and tell us how you got started and why you founded Pocket Nest?
Yes, so I'm Jessica Willis, the founder and CEO of Pocket Nest. We do comprehensive financial planning for Gen X and millennials, all in a digital platform. We do that by primarily licensing our software to institutions, financial institutions like banks, credit unions, advisors, benefit providers, other fintech firms, really any company touching personal finance. How I got started, I've got 20 some years in the industry of personal finance. I've been a wealth advisor, an investment advisor, a certified financial planner, certified private wealth advisor, and have seen this massive gap in the industry. There's a lot of great, brilliant fintech platforms out there like Stash and Dale and her team. But what I saw was that a lot of these fintech platforms are very siloed in one piece of personal finance. And the question I kept getting from peers was, what do we do for everything else? What do we do for that CFP experience? Not wanting to go talk to a traditional advisor.
Okay, cool. And so you said your platform is specifically for Gen Z and millennials. What about your platform is just specifically for that group?
Yeah, we actually say it's Gen X, definitely Gen Z, and then millennials as well. What it is really is kind of user behavior. What we've seen is that a lot of the baby boomers are, of course, already working with traditional advisors, but it's that next generation that's saying, I feel like there should be a more tech efficient way to do comprehensive financial planning. And so that's the niche we're trying to fill.
Yes, so true. Flory, can you introduce yourself and tell us how you got started and why you founded BlockFi?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Flory Marquez. I'm the co-founder of BlockFi. And what BlockFi does is we create financial products using crypto to get people more attractive yields than what's usually available in the market today. So for retail consumers out there looking to invest, we offer 3 things. We offer an interest account where you can send us cash and that gets turned into stablecoin, and you can start earning 8%, which is a crazy rate given what else you can access in today's interest rate environment. The second thing is trading. So you can buy crypto for the first time or actively trade it on our platform. And the third thing is US dollar loans so that you can borrow against your crypto investments. And I got started in the space because I had also been working in financial services and lending, and my previous company got acqui-hired by Goldman Sachs. And at the time, I was really interested in staying in the startup realm. So I met up with my co-founder, and he had this idea to start building financial products, like leveraging crypto as an asset class. And it was the perfect opportunity for me for two reasons. One, it was amazing to be able to use what I knew how to do, which is build traditional fintech and lending products and apply it to something completely new that was crypto. So I was able to build what I knew and learn something new at the same time. And the second thing is my family is originally from Argentina. So the amazing thing about our platform is that it's available to everyone in the world at one price, and people can use it instantly just using their mobile phones. So now I'm able to give my family in Argentina access to the financial products that we use in the US.
Awesome. Yeah, BlockFi is a really awesome product and platform. You guys should definitely check it out. So you all work in the financial service industry, which is traditionally very male dominated. Dale, I'm wondering if you faced any challenges specifically as a woman that gave you unique skills to excel in your field.
My entire working experience, it's not specifically as a woman, but I think all the challenges everyone has as they move along in their career builds them as a person. And you take that with you to all your new experiences. And certainly being a communicator, being someone, a mom now, and having to solve issues at home and with people has benefited me. If you go to more traditional experiences, certainly just having that time in your life where you want to start a family and you have to continue on in your career, that's certainly a challenge. But I think those times and those challenges only make us stronger as individuals and give us that set of skills and that accessible space to really persevere. And I think all of that has built me into the person I am now. And I think it helps women everywhere having those challenges and being able to overcome them and bring that into their next experiences.
Right. The work-life balance is definitely a huge life lesson. So Flory, do you ever feel intimidated working in the industry? And if so, how do you deal with those feelings?
Yeah, I mean, I think it can definitely be intimidating, especially because I work in financial services and in crypto and in startups. So, the population of women just gets smaller and smaller. But I think one of the things that I believe in is that any challenge or any difficulty is also an opportunity to become stronger. And it kind of gives you an edge that other people who haven't, risen to that challenge haven't had. So I think while it is difficult to sometimes, I've definitely been the only woman in a room of 200 people. I found that the best way to look at it is to use that as an opportunity to stand out, right? If you're unique, it gives you the ability to kind of be special and find a reason to have people speak to you that if you're one of the masses, that doesn't exist for you. So I think there are a lot of challenges in being a woman in finance. And I think anyone who's kind of risen through the ranks has experienced challenges that are unique to women. And I think understanding the balance between how do you make sure your voice is heard? How do you make sure you stick up for yourself? How do you create your identity to be powerful and intelligent and not just be typecast as the woman in the room? All of those things are things that I think have helped me shape me to be like stronger and kind of more of a Swiss Army knife than other people who haven't had to go through that challenge.
Yeah, so kind of taking those like uncomfortable situations and turning them into something positive and inspiring. So Jessica, what is your biggest obstacle you faced in your career, and what was the result of your response to that?
The biggest obstacle in my career, I'm going to answer that question looking back after having the 20 years I've had in a career. I think looking back to the younger Jessica, I recognize that there were times in my career that I should have taken the risk or taken the jump faster. I was at one company for a really long time really loved my job there, but I was outgrowing it. And so the last couple of years were a little bit uncomfortable for me. And at the time, it felt like I was broken. It felt like I was failing. It felt like I wasn't succeeding at what I had thought I had set out to do. And now, years and years later, feeling a lot more comfortable in my skin, knowing who I am, and also just being a mom, I've got this lens on of, no, that was growth. That was beautiful. That was me growing out of an environment. So that happened in my 20s. And then again, even before I started this company, it took me about a year to leave the stable, high paying, safe job to actually take the leap and start the startup. And so, I think the advice to the younger Jessica would have been, don't be so scared, move a little bit faster, take the risk. So that's what I would say would be an obstacle, was just having that confidence to jump earlier.
Yes, one of my favorite sayings is opportunity lives on the other side of fear. But you were working on the startup at the same time of working a full-time job?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I'm a morning person. And so I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I actually still do that. I love that early morning time. I see Dale shaking her head. If you're an early morning person, that's a really magical time. And so I was doing the 4 a.m. until 9 a.m. and then closing everything up for Pocket Nest and going into the office, and usually doing that feeling a little bit sad and bummed. And that's, it took me about a year of that to recognize, okay, if I'm not running into the office and loving my job and loving what I'm doing every day, maybe it's time to make a change.
Oh, so true. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. Flory, how can women use your platform to improve their economic and social standing?
Yeah, so one of the things that I see very often within my friend group that I would love to solve is to basically demystify how to start investing. And one of the things that we do at BlockFi is to try to simplify crypto and investing in general. So the simplest product, which I'm obsessed with, is the interest account, which basically you can just send us cash as little as you want, just $10, and start earning 8%. And I think when I think about investing and I think about how to give advice towards people who have never done it before, I really think about lowering the first step, right? So a lot of people look at investing and they see like the entire mountain of like what you could do to have a fully diversified portfolio. And the reality is that you don't have to look at climbing the entire mountain. You just have to look at the 10 steps ahead of you. And for most people, that just means, how can you get a yield that's a little bit higher than what you get in your savings account? If you don't even have a savings account, definitely start there and get the slightly higher yield than you would on your checking account. And once you have those two steps in place, then you can start allocating maybe 5% of what you own into something that can generate a bigger return than the savings rate. And so one product is BlockFi. I also love robo-advisors. So Betterment, Ally, any of those portfolios that have low management fees and just allow you to get a little bit of return from the markets. And just remember to start slow, do it over time. And the second that you start to own investments or put your capital to work for you, you'll learn and you'll start to pay attention to how to do it because you're actively investing in it. And that learning curve will take up over time. And you'll see that, 3 years from now, you'll be a much more savvy investor than you were today.
Okay. And does BlockFi have like a crypto education section where people can kind of learn about those products and how to get started?
Yeah, so we have a blog and we also have a YouTube channel with a lot of videos, and you can watch me talk about our culture, or a risk manager talk about how we think about managing the portfolio. The other thing that is exceptional is, and I'm biased because I manage them, but we have one of the best client service teams. So if anyone has any questions about how these products work, you can definitely write in or give us a call and people can walk you through it.
Okay, awesome. And we'll definitely drop the contact information in there. Dale, I want to swing back around to you and ask the same question that I asked to Jessica about, your biggest obstacles you faced in your career and what your response was to that.
Biggest obstacles. I think really it was gaining the experience I needed to get my career path in the direction I wanted it to go. And I see this so often, especially for folks that are in marketing, that you get pigeonholed in specific skill sets. and you have to really advocate for yourself to end, as Jessica was saying, make those jumps faster, to push yourself beyond what you can do, challenge yourself, and create experience. So if you're stuck in a particular track and you know that you need to learn about something completely different to make that next jump in your career, you have to push yourself, potentially taking a step back. And so that's happened to me, multiple times. And it's something that, I have felt very, not confident about, but happy about, that I've had mentorship that has guided me to make those changes. So pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, taking that jump to potentially a role where you don't know what you're doing, you're going to fake it till you make it, and getting that experience you need to move yourself up in your career, versus just staying in that single lane, following the path that maybe your manager has set up for you, and not really evolving in your career and your skill set.
Okay, you said something about taking a step back. Do you mean like working on those other skills while also, participating in your role still, or what do you think about?
Yeah, you do what it takes. So that might be working nights and taking extra classes. It might be spending a lot of time reading, but it also might be taking a step back in a job title or in a role that you think you're beyond, because you want to get that new experience. It's not always a linear path to where you're headed and where that goal is. Sometimes it's a side step, and sometimes it's a backward step. And obviously different companies have different titling. So just moving past that and knowing yourself and what you need to accomplish and those skill sets you need to gain, and being willing to go that extra mile and put that extra work in. Nothing's going to be handed to you. You have to go out and get it.
That makes a lot of sense. And it's like putting your ego aside to do what's best for you in the long run. So that's awesome. I wanted to jump into some advice. I was wondering if you could give us some advice, Flory, of how women can break into the crypto industry.
Yeah, so I think that there's two themes that have come up in our conversation. And one is like the idea of taking risks, and the other one is that in investing in yourself. And I think that's kind of what Dale was talking about, like that acquiring knowledge, even if it's a slightly different title or a less lucrative job, that learning as much as you can and getting as much knowledge like in yourself to then be able to level up in the future is always worth it. And particularly to circle it back to risks, that taking maybe a lower paying job at a startup where you have much more room for growth, but maybe a lower salary or a different title, I think is 100% always worth it. And how that relates to crypto is crypto is a new technology. So everybody's a beginner. So we're at the ground floor here. And what that means is that women have an opportunity to get in at the start of a new industry. And so to know that as we're hiring at BlockFi, at other companies, previous experience in crypto does not exist. There are not a lot of real companies like BlockFi that have existed for more than a few years. And so it's a fantastic opportunity for you to pivot into something new. And when this technology is huge 20 years from now, you'll be able to say, I've been working in this industry for 20 years and be one of those industry experts. So I think it's an amazing opportunity for us to kind of level the playing field and make a lot of the disparities that we see between women and men in the workplace a lot more even.
Yeah, what you said about, breaking into crypto and this being the ground floor, like, gave me chills, because that's so true, and you don't really see these opportunities come around often. So basically just get started, right? Like, educate yourself, find the platforms that work for you. So this is for Dale and Jessica. Dale, I'll let you start first. What do you want women to know most about personal finance? Like, is there a single best piece of advice that you could give?
Yeah, I think it's just, as Flory was saying, like, have the confidence to know that this is for you as well. You can do it. It's not hard. I know, for so many years we've been cut out of these conversations. And like historically, we know women have been shut out of finance and the industry more broadly. I might steal some of your trivia right now, but it wasn't long ago. Muriel Siebert became the first female member of the New York Stock Exchange. And that was 1967. And for context, the New York Stock Exchange was founded in 1817. So that's like 150 years of male-only membership. And so we're starting already at a disadvantage here. And similarly, you know, in business in Silicon Valley, only 20% of Silicon Valley startups had female founding members as of a couple of years ago. We have the race started, and we just had our legs tied. But to know that we can do it and we can catch up really quickly. There's so many resources available. We are just as smart as men. There's no disadvantage in getting into investing or learning about your finances or managing your finances. In fact, we often, you know, in research have seen to be doing it more consistently and better and with more, you know, less risk averse ways. And so I think just getting started and getting rid of that stigma that it's something for men only, talking to more women, getting that conversation going, removing that stigma that if you shouldn't talk to finances, both in the family setting and with your friends. And when you can do that and create community and support for one another, it comes easy. It's all there. The information's there. It's not beyond us. It's affordable. It's accessible. So many platforms now like Stash can make it really easy. So it's just get started. Just take that step, take that risk, and do it for yourself.
Right, and that's kind of how Women in Fintech, this special, was born, is just talking about those barriers and then also introducing resources and platforms for women to really get started and just bringing that awareness. So thank you so much. How about you, Jessica? Any single piece of advice you can give for women who want to take ownership of their personal finances?
Yeah, everything Dale and Flory has said, you know, I echo it. We always say first step in financial planning is to pause, to take a breath. I think we feel very overwhelmed by the personal, I say we, and I don't necessarily mean just women, I mean all of us. We feel very overwhelmed by finance. It feels like one of these industries that, well, I think this industry has been made confusing a bit on purpose. We want to be the experts in the room, and it doesn't have to be like that anymore. I think once you get a little bit more, you do a little bit of research, what you'll learn is that, you know, personal finance investing, this stuff doesn't have to be the rocket science that it's made out to be. So step one, we always say, is pause, take a breath, and then make a plan, and then take some action. And, you know, I think there's so many similarities between what Dale and Flory and I would say in our messaging, which is we say baby steps, we say get your toes wet, you know, just try, take some action. You know, there's so many great platforms out there that make things really digestible and easy now that, you know, go for it.
Right. You said you don't have to be a rocket scientist, and that kind of brings me around to you don't have to do it overnight either. Like, take some time and really figure it out. Thank you guys so much. I thought that was incredible advice. I do want to take a second to talk about Benzinga Pro for those of you who haven't heard of it before. It's our very own stock research platform, so especially if you want to get started in investing. It has real-time alerts, audio squawk, and the fastest newsfeed in the game. We have a promo code right now, YouTube47, for 40% off a Benzinga Pro monthly subscription. And I'll show you a little bit about Benzinga Pro right now. All right, and so someone's actually going to win a free month of Benzinga Pro by playing along in the comments. We're going to take a few minutes to play some trivia with our guests. If you're watching on YouTube, you can play along in the chat by putting the number to the answer within the comments. You can get some Benzinga swag. Yesterday, we posted a poll on our Twitter account, just a little fun, you know, wager between Flory, Dale, and Jessica on who's going to win trivia. So if you pick the right winner, then you're going to get a free month of Benzinga Pro. So we're going to jump right into trivia. Feel free to play along. I'll be keeping track. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to interrupt me. But basically, it'll be multiple choice, 1, 2, 3, or 4, and there's 8 questions. Alrighty. I know you guys were saying that sometimes you play trivia and then sometimes it doesn't go that great, but I promise this will be fun. And please play along in the comments. And while we're waiting, if you could give us a like and a share, we'd really appreciate it. Help us get the word out about, women in fintech and resources and all these great platforms for personal finance. We're really encouraging not just women, but men too, get started in their own personal finance journey. Okay, number 1. After gaining work experience in some of the biggest fashion houses in the world, including Polo Ralph Lauren, Vera Wang, and Loewe, Blank decided to spread out her wings and build her own label. Is it 1, Tory Burch, 2, Donna Karan, 3, Donatella Versace, or 4, Stella McCartney? Drop what you think in the comments. You guys can hold up your answer whenever you've got it. I'm gonna keep track here. Okay, 1, 1, and 1. All right. I have a hint for you guys, even though you already answered. She was born in 1966, if that helps you guys in the comments.
Oh,
I feel like, can we change our answers?
If you want. Do you guys have a favorite female fashion designer or anyone that you particularly follow?
no.
No.
I'm not like the biggest shopper, honestly.
Okay. Well, you guys were right. It is Tory Burch. Did you not? Did you not think she was born in
it
the
was
60s?
Tory Burch. You got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
We're off to a much better start than every other trivia game I've ever played.
100%.
All right. Well, it's a tie so far. All right. Number 2, founded by Cindy Mai and based in Beijing, Blank connects teachers in North America with children around the world for real-time English immersion learning online. Is it 1, VIP Kid, 2, ClassPass, 3, Kumon, or 4, Burbling? Okay, Dale says 3, Jessica says 3, so you guys think Kumon. Flory says Burbling. Okay.
I think we're showing our age, Jessica.
Have you guys ever been to
all 29 years, right?
I just did. I had no idea what it was. So I was like, Burbling sounds like it is related to languages.
It's true. Have you guys ever been to Beijing or China?
I have
Would
not.
love to.
Yeah, no, it sounds to be incredible, but okay, so just a couple seconds here, and it is VIP Kid.
Oh,
I stumped you guys. Did anybody get in the comments? I see some ones in the comments, so you guys got it.
Yeah.
Interesting. ClassPass was the favorite.
Okay, number 3. What woman has won a total of 56 Grand Slam tennis competition events and 9 Wimbledon women's singles titles? Is it 1, Venus Williams, 2, Serena Williams, 3, Maria Sharapova, or 4, Martina? Wow, why did I put that as a Navratilova?
Sounds right to me.
I also have a fun fact for you guys. Okay, Dale says 2, Jessica says 2, Flory says 2. All right. So the Williams sisters have actually had some TV time, which I was learning when I was putting these together. They appeared in a Simpsons episode called Go Figure, Tennis the Menace. And Serena was a voice on a Playhouse Disney show called Higglytown Heroes. I had no idea that they were, also into TV. I mean, they're just such great tennis players. I kind of just thought that consumed all of their time. All right, I'm seeing a lot of 2s in the chat. Yes, it was Martina and
Wow.
I'm sorry, I can't even attempt to say her last name because I'm gonna butcher it.
Navratilova.
Gotcha. Okay,
Should have
so
known that one.
yes, that's why I put it in there because it was the answer. Number 4, who is the CEO and founder of Glossier? Is it 1, Emily Weiss, 2, Heidi Klum, 3, Whitney Port, or 4, Jessica Richmond? And I have a hint. She appeared on the reality TV show The Hills. Okay, Dale says 2, Flora, you said
I think I'm wrong.
1, and Jessica says 1. Okay. Have you guys ever tried Glossier or like a favorite cosmetics brand?
Yeah, I've tried Glossier before. And I think they're also a really interesting business. And it's just such a testament to when you start something, you really have no idea how it's going to be successful, because didn't they start more doing like print? They just like pivoted their business model over time, and then like found like the right click with product market fit, and then that's when it exploded. So
yeah, and she was working in fashion before. Yeah, so it's Emily Weiss. So that went to Flory and Jessica. So we've got Flory 2, Jessica 2, Dale 1. I'm confident you'll catch up, Dale. All right, number 5. RM Kang founded a dating app in 2012 for people who are looking for meaningful relationships. What is the company? Is it 1, Christian Mingle, 2, Coffee Meets Bagel, 3, Tinder, or 4, Bumble? Okay, Flory's got 2, Jessica's got 3, Dale's got 1. Oh wow, this is gonna be a tiebreaker. So I see a lot of 1s, 3s, 4s, 2s in the comments. Yeah, mixed bag here. So I was actually looking into like how many relationships actually come out of these dating apps, or meaningful relationships. And so Tinder is responsible for matching 30% of all engaged couples who meet online, and then OkCupid and Bumble round out the top 3 websites. So I guess they actually work. I don't know how does anyone meet anyone anymore, I guess, especially during COVID.
Oh, Coffee Meets
All right,
Bagel.
Coffee Meets Bagel, yes, 2012. Yeah, and I think that's more of like a friendship platform rather than, like finding a mate.
I would have not guessed that Tinder was up there for relationships. I would have guessed that Bumble and Coffee Meets Bagel were higher up.
I know. Pretty crazy. Okay, number 6. What was the title of the Spice Girls' 3rd album? Was it 1, Greatest Hits, 2, Forever, 3, Holler, or 4, Spice Worlds?
Dale, this is where our age comes in handy.
Seriously.
Right? And I don't know the answer, but I feel like we should.
Okay.
I don't know this one at all.
Dale's got 4.
I'm guessing 3.
Lori's got 2, and Jessica's got 3. Okay.
Oh, we split it up here again.
I know. Do you guys listen to the Spice Girls, or did you? I guess.
I mean, college days, it was a must back then.
Yeah,
Spice
I thought
Girls
they were
more
making
like
a comeback.
in cooking probably.
Yeah, I have to admit that I wasn't sure of this answer either. So, but I'm seeing a lot of. Another mixed bag. A lot of.
Oh, look at that!
Yes, it was Forever. Flory, you're killing it. 4.
I was just
Flory.
I think I reverse jinxed myself by saying that I was horrible at trivia.
Right?
Yeah, really
or
undersold.
You're just a trivia shark.
Undersold.
Flory, you're like a pool shark. You
Yes.
came in, you said
Yeah.
no way, and
All
doing it.
Number
Oh, I
7.
know this one. Don't
Can't even
copy
get the
me.
question out. Dita Sharkey is the CEO and co-founder of which company? Is it 1, Young Living, 2, Burt's Bees, 3, Brandless, and 4, Public Goods? Okay, Jessica says 2, Dale says 3, Flory says 4.
You got to go with me. I said I know it.
I know. I just didn't want to
cheating.
cheat. I was trying to not look at your answer.
Yeah, so for those in the comments, the hint is the company manufactures and sells food, beauty, and personal care products. So I think that applies to a couple of these, but what do you guys think? I see some 3s, a lot of 3s. Brandless.
It's probably 3, I think, in retrospect.
Dale was pretty confident.
I'm pretty confident.
Yes. Okay, well, yeah, Dale got that one. She knew right off.
Redemption.
Okay, so yeah, score update: Dale 2, Flory 4, Jessica 2, and we have one last question.
Oh no, you're sure what we can't get? Can this be bonus extra credit or something?
Oh yeah, and Spencer, you want to come up with a bonus question? Okay, number 8. Who introduced America to French cooking in her books and television series through 1963 through the 1990s? Is it 1, Martha Stewart, 2, Julia Child, 3, Ina Garten, or 4, Gianna de Laurentiis? Okay, Dale says 2, Flory says 2. Oh, yeah, all said 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
We saw the Amy Adams movie. Can't get that wrong.
The
Is that
Julia
Amy
Child.
Adams?
You know, my cousin said she went to that and left. Like, she did not really care for it. So do you guys cook or do you prefer takeout?
I like cooking.
I like cooking, but I need takeout on a busy day.
Oh yeah, for sure. And if it is
Yeah.
cooking, like, I need one of those subscription boxes. Like, give me everything I have so I'm not scrambling around. And I also like to make sure that's quick and easy. All right, Julia Child. Thank you guys for playing. We'll let you know if you won in the comments. Dale ended up with 3, Flory ended up with 5, and Jessica ended up with 3. So that was pretty good, guys. And Flory, now
Congrats,
you have
Flory.
bragging rights, and you can go back to your
My
your trivia
friends.
friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
And be like,
You should
won.
draft me on your next team, guys.
Yes. All right. Thank you, guys. So I actually wanted to just take some time for our viewers to ask some questions in the chat. I did have some questions from Twitter. Flory, I'm not sure if you're allowed to answer this, but if you are you allowed to comment on Bitcoin and a timeline of whether you think it'll hit $100,000 this year?
Well, thanks for the legal asterisk, which is like, I cannot give investment advice, and that's not really what BlockFi does. But what I can say is kind of speak to a couple of the themes that I've seen. So over the last 3 months, you've seen a lot of institutional investors moving into the space, either purchasing crypto directly themselves. Everyone by now probably saw the Elon Musk tweet buying 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. You have a lot of companies like the ones that invested in our Series D round that we announced last week. So that's like Tiger Global, DST, and Bain now investing in crypto-related companies. And you really didn't see that 3 years ago. So I think that all of that momentum, to me, means that the price should continue to go up in the near term. And the most exciting price prediction that I saw was Guggenheim actually came out with a report saying that each Bitcoin should be worth $400,000. And it's worth $60,000 today. So a lot of people ask, is it too late? Can I still buy it? And I think the answer is yes, that we're still just in the beginning of this industry and technology. And there's so many people in the US and around the world who haven't invested in it yet. So there's still a lot of room to go up.
Yes, that opportunity is definitely there. I agree with you. So another question was for Dale. What was your biggest career challenge in COVID-19 and how did you handle it?
COVID-19 career challenge.
Yeah.
It honestly was managing a team and finding the right way to connect to colleagues, employees, reports, and still be productive and manage burnout. It's so hard when you're standing in front of a computer day in and day out on Zoom. You lose that one-to-one connection with people. You don't always, and you're doing so much communication on Slack. You lose context. You miss tone. You miss the eye contact. It's really hard. So I think that the biggest challenge was keeping people engaged, keeping the team productive and on track, and their morale up, and just keeping those relationships going in a time where you can't touch people, you can't see people, you can't smile face to face and collaborate live in person. So I am really much looking forward to a time when we can get back to seeing each other live and in person, and just having that dynamic, energy between two live people is really important. So it's just been quite a challenge doing everything over Zoom. And it's a testament actually to all of our organizations that pivoted really quickly to put things in place and practices and technology in place for us to be enabled to do it. But it was quite a journey.
Yeah, I think a lot of us can relate to that, especially the part about just getting back. We miss those relationships, so can definitely agree there. And then I have a question for Jessica. As a startup, how did COVID impact your business? Was it positive? Was it negative?
Yeah, it was actually positive for us. So because what so much of what we're doing is connecting banks and credit unions and institutions with end users over technology. Obviously, people were not walking into their banks, they're not walking into their credit unions. And so what we saw were those financial institutions were taking their 2, 3, 4, and 5-year budgets that they were going to be putting into technology, and they were front loading those into 2020 and 2021. They were looking for non-transactional technology that would help them engage with their end users, and that's what we're doing. So we've had a really, really good last 12 to 14 months. We've had the sales calls are getting, we've had more and more sales calls. So it's been from a business standpoint a really good year for us.
All right, awesome. I love to hear that, especially with all of the uncertainty that we've gone through. So I'm glad that it was positive for you. I have a question here in the comments for Flory, but again, I'm not sure if this is considered advice, but any picks for what cryptocurrency seems poised for greatest short-term gain in value? Or maybe you can point us into maybe an area of BlockFi that can answer this question.
Well, I think, again, this is not investment advice, but the craziest thing that we've seen in crypto recently is this whole rise of NFTs, which is basically putting art or intellectual property on the blockchain. And that seems to be like really taking off. Some people are calling it a bubble. And I think it's always hard to tell when there's like a new use of technology. I'm very, very simple. And I'm one of those people who's a Bitcoin maximalist. I think, again, we're really early in this type of technology and how it's used and its applicability to like how it interacts with the modern world. And for that reason, I kind of believe in investing in the first thing that was, Bitcoin is the first of its kind. It's the most recognized name in terms of cryptocurrency. Some people may compare it to gold, even though that's not an entirely accurate metaphor, but that's kind of an easy way to think about it for new investors. And I think until we kind of figure out how blockchain technology can be applied to a lot of the things we do in the world today, I kind of stick with like the easy store of value, like first crypto to market, because I think that as I think about everyone who's never invested in this space before, what's the first thing that they're going to buy? I do think it's going to be Bitcoin. So that's what I stick to personally.
Yeah, it was the case for me too. So I totally get that. I saw a question earlier, and you brought up NFTs. Do you plan on adding them to BlockFi?
Yeah, so not necessarily in the near term. The way that we think about the assets that are available on the platform is based on market cap. So we look at, the things that have the most liquidity and are the most traded. So I think we still have some room to run on the NFT side.
Okay, cool. I think we have one last question here. How do your guests feel about women-only shared workspaces like The Wing? Does any of you have experience with The Wing? Dale?
I have never had a women-only, shared workspace. We did come just out of a WeWork. Stash's office space was WeWork, and I can just imagine one step further and having a women-only shared workspace. And I think for certain, audiences that could be really meaningful and helpful and, collaborative if the workspace created that opportunity for more regular mixers or mentorship and programs that brought those women together. Just as a space thing, I'm not sure it's actually necessary, but I think it's an interesting concept.
Okay, thank you. And last but not least, is there anything you guys want to add? Where can people follow you? How about you, Flory?
So you can see my handle, I think right there at Founder Flory. I'm on Twitter. And yeah, I think the last piece of advice I think is basically the theme of what we've been talking about, which is, it's worth it to take risks to invest in your future. And, a metaphor I just recently thought of is when we're working day in and day out and just working for that paycheck, if you can think of it as like starting a fire, right? I think about like daily work as like lighting a match, and starting your own company or taking a risk and investing in your future is like building a fire instead of lighting that match.
Awesome. Thank you, Flory. And Jessica, how about you? Where can people follow you?
We're at Pocket Nest on everything. Website is pocketnest.com. And since Flory added some last advice, I want to do the same. I think the one thing we didn't talk about all that much is find your mentor and find your community. I don't think any of us can do what we're doing without amazing mentors. So we have this great deep bench of formal and informal mentors and community. So that's my last little tidbit of advice.
Thank you. Yeah, support system is huge. How about you, Dale? Anything you want to add, and where can people follow you?
Yeah. I'm going to echo what Jessica said, and that's community. A recent study that we just did found that 40% of women hold back on talking about finances with friends because of those long-standing taboos and stigmas. But it's so really important to do. So talking to friends, families, colleagues, finding that mentor, and helping yourself become more financially literate. You'll be able to manage your finances more intelligently, and then we'll actually have the opportunity to start chipping away at things like the pay gap and the gender investing gap, all like really meaningful things that we need to tackle. For women and anyone really, once you feel like you're ready to get your feet wet, there's so many resources and apps to help you, like Stash, and many which are simple and affordable. And on Stash, we build education into everything, every corner of the app that we do. So we're really there for beginners and everyone along their investing journey. We offer tools and personalization and guidance to make everyone in our community, especially women, feel supported as they work towards their investing goals. And for me, I'm not my own brand, but you can find me on LinkedIn. But you should definitely follow Stash on social, TikTok, Insta, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Give us a shout or stash.com.
Thanks so much, Dale. And that's all I have for you guys. If you've been with me this whole time, I really appreciate it. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you, Dale, Jessica, Flory, for coming on. I hope to see you all next Tuesday. We have one last show in our special. We'll be talking to Catherine St. John from Trading Central, Barbara Provost from Purse Strings, and then Catherine Van Noyes from Fintech at Amazon Web Services. So we'll be giving away another free month of Benzinga Pro at that show. And Specs Attack is up next with Chris and Mitch. So thank you guys so much. Bye for now.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.
Thank you.